The Sala de los Arcos de Cristal, or Room of the Crystal Arches, is the interior performance hall of the famous Tropicana Cabaret located in Havana, Cuba. The nightclub was built on the grounds of a mansion owned by a wealthy socialite who decided to rent the property to a group of entrepreneurs who wanted to build there due to the area's tropical beauty. The club opened on New Year's Eve in 1940 and quickly began attracting well-known performers and social elites, such as Bola de Nieve, Rita Montaner, and Nat King Cole. The success of the club prompted entrepreneur Martin Fox, a well-known under-the-table gambler, to take over management of the Tropicana and turn it into a popular gambling spot. As the club's popularity grew, Fox commissioned the first indoor section of the nightclub to accommodate crowds on days of bad weather. Having worked previously with Max Borges on the design of his own home, Fox requested Borges build a covering for a large hall area, with the only directive being that Borges not cut down any trees, a necessary measure to ensure that the new structure highlighted the surrounding foliage. This led to Borges' Arcos de Cristal, now known as one of the most compelling pieces of Cuban architecture. The hall is composed of 5 slender reinforced concrete cylindrical arches, placed off-center and in decreasing order of height. Based on literature and confirmed by measurements taken on-site, the dimensions of the arches range in height from 16 to 33 feet high, with spans ranging from 40 to 90 feet. Measuring only 3 inches thick, the shell vaults provide only a thin separation between the garden-like exterior and soaring interior. Panes of glass are layered in the spaces between the vaults and on the entire front face of the largest arch to allow for increased visibility of the lush garden greenery and velvety night sky. The thinness of the vaults was made possible because of the unique curve of the shells, which allowed Borges to transform the loading into pure axial forces. The cylindrical arches are self-supporting, with the exception of one arch that is supported by 2 curved columns on one side. This was important because any support columns would have interrupted the flow of the structure and detracted from the open-air, cave-like aesthetic. A full-scale 3D model of the structure was created using Rhino software in order to get a better understanding of the hall's geometry. 3 of the shells stand on their own, connected to each other only by the glass windows, while the remaining 2 shells intersect and overlap one another. The analysis performed on the structure was for thin, circular, cylindrical shells. Each of the 5 shells was analyzed separately in the structural analysis program SAP 2000, and also by hand using membrane theory. The boundary conditions were set to pin-pin, and only the self-weight of the structure was considered for analysis. Based on the loading conditions, we were able to verify that the forces are greatest at the bottom and smallest at the top, and that the self-weight of the structure causes symmetric stress resultants and deflections. The majority of each shell is in compression, which is expected based on the gravitational effects on the geometry. Assuming a conservative value for the compression strength of concrete of 2000 psi, this can be compared to the largest stresses experienced in the shell to evaluate the structural integrity of the structure. With only the self-weight considered, the largest stress is approximately 50 psi, several orders of magnitude smaller than the concrete's capacity of 2000 psi. The architecture exhibited by the Tropicana and other contemporary Cuban structures represents a bold and abstract language that rejuvenated the Cuban aesthetic while harmoniously melding with the architecture of old. The shell form of the Arcos de Cristal represents a new holistic architecture between space, time, heritage, and landscape. Artists and architects in Cuba during the mid-century period strove to embrace the modern spirit in a new cultural environment while still trying to capture national values, a goal which was achieved in Max Borges' timeless structure, the Arcos de Cristal.